Hello and welcome to my Let's Play of Terra Invicta. Now, I absolutely love this game, and I wanted to do a Let's Play from the perspective of someone who plays on the hardest difficulty, and I think plays this game a little bit differently than a lot of the videos I've seen on YouTube, and, is a more up-to-date look at it, and yes, that's what we're going to be doing today. Now, I'm going to be playing as the Academy, because I've never actually won as the Academy before on any difficulty technically. So I'm, in my eyes, they're kind of like the true ending. And so I really want to win as them. And if you've not played this game before, if you don't really know what it is, I will be trying to explain what I'm doing as I go through. But if you get a bit lost, it's fine. I'm sure you'll catch up. So the Academy, brutal. Let us begin.
We remember the day the stars answered, the day we learned we were not alone. As a familiar sun rose on an unfamiliar universe, some of us saw wondrous possibility, and others existential danger. The astronomers had insisted that the bright streak in the sky was no natural phenomenon. Most of us didn't really believe them until it burned through our atmosphere and crashed in a remote region, leaving only wreckage and uncertainty. In our ignorance, we fractured, taking refuge in our most primal emotions. Each of us saw what we wanted to see. Fear is understandable, a natural reaction to the unknown. It is only by joining together that we can rise above our base impulses. Our strength lies in our collective knowledge and our rich history of innovation. It is that bond.
So, I can't stop the video cutting out there. So it is that bond that gives us courage. And we have begun. So.
Hello, Chancellor. The Council has appointed you leader of our organization. I am Li Qingzao, your provost. We are living in a time of chaos, ridden with both danger and opportunity. The alien arrival carries the potential for great good and great evil. And as yet, we have no way of knowing which it shall be.
So, Li Jingzhao has basically... Usually she'd be the leader of the faction, but she's kind of given it up to me, which is very nice of her. So, first contests. First contact. Our artists and scientists have dreamed of it for so long. What will they find, and what will they see in us? So, this game is essentially we have the entire world, and we are essentially a shadow organization, shadow government, basically, and we take over nations on Earth by taking these victory points. And essentially, we're not a nation. We're kind of an international organization of people who are trying to take over the world in the wake of the alien arrival. And we are competing with 6 other very similar organizations. So if we go into Intel, we can see that these are all of our rivals, and all of the different factions represent a reaction to the aliens and almost not only just different philosophy, but kind of a different emotion attached to them. As it said in the intro, we fractured, we saw what we wanted to see. So you kind of have people like Humanity First, who are the most anti-alien of all the factions. They kind of represent fear. They've seen the aliens and they're scared. And their only reaction is to just fight them and kill them and wipe them out, essentially. Because the aliens, spoiler alert, are not coming in peace, necessarily. It gets quite complicated, and as the Academy, we will see a lot of how the story is very complicated, which I just love the story so much. And then, of course, after Humanity First, it'll be a bit easier to see if we click on a country. So after Humanity First, you go a little bit less anti-alien, because the lower you are to the bottom, the more anti-alien you are, which is the Resistance, which essentially, I look at them as like kind of instinct. It's like the aliens are here to invade, so you don't let them, you fight them back. But they don't really have a goal or a purpose. They're just kind of like, oh, we fight the aliens and then that's good enough. Like they're not going anywhere. And that's kind of their weakness, I think, as a faction, is they're arguably the most similar to the Academy in that they're kind of good and they're moral and they're not evil, but they're also, they don't really have any goals of humanity. They just kind of want us to go back to doing what we did before. Just whatever. Exodus are a bit weird. They want to build a giant spaceship and escape, and they're the last faction I ever did a playthrough with, and they're really fun to play. But yeah, they just kind of represent, you know, cowardice. They don't really see the fact that humanity can win. They don't believe in us. They just think, yeah, Earth's kind of ruined. Let's just find a new one, which seems a bit weak. The initiative are essentially just greed. They're just a bunch of rich people who's like, wow, there's a lot of chaos going on. Maybe we can exploit this for personal gain and profit. They don't think of anyone else but themselves, just pure greed. Then after that is the Academy, and to me the Academy, we're hope. We're looking at the aliens and we're saying something doesn't quite add up. The way they're invading doesn't quite make sense. Surely they should be able to easily conquer us. Why are they doing it in this roundabout way? What's going on? And that's going to be our goal, to try and understand the aliens, really figure out what's going on. And even more pro-alien is the Protectorate, who want to essentially appease the aliens. And they are, to be honest, up until about halfway through the story, we are the same faction as the Protectorate. There'll be a point in the story that we'll get to where our factions will lore-wise split, although we've technically split already. But the Protectorate are kind of, in my opinion, is cowardice. They represent just, we don't believe in ourselves, and we just have to do what they want. We just give them what they want and they'll go away. You're essentially the Neville Chamberlain of the universe. You're just not, you don't believe in anything better, and that's sad. And then the servants is just, it's just servitude. It's just the aliens are our masters, and they're somewhat right. They have their, it makes sense, the servants, and sometimes they're like weirdly correct in like subtle ways, which is quite fun in the story. But yeah, and all of those are our rivals. Our main enemies will be the servants. They will be the ones, even though we're technically pro-alien, we're really not. Only the servants are pro-alien. Everyone beneath the servants should really be fighting them, including the Protectorate. So the servants are our main rivals. Everyone else are kind of our allies, but really not. And you'll see that as we go through. So the goal of the game is that aliens are coming to invade Earth. They will be here in around 10 to 15 years. They will land with, and they're already here with secret agents, but they will land with large armies in around 10 to 15 years. And we need to be ready for them. We need to have 6, 7 armies sitting directly where they're going to land, ready to just wipe them off the face of the Earth. And then just to keep that up for years and years on end, until in space we can sort them out up there. So how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to need secret agents, who are these councillors, who we start off with some absolutely terrible councillors, but maybe we can get some better ones. But these councillors will do missions on the map. Right now, every week they do a mission. So these are the missions that are currently available to us. We basically have nothing, but we will get more. So the first one we have that's mainly good is Control Nation. This lets us try and roll to grab a control point in a nation. So let's see what new councillors we can get. Okay, so councillors have these stats here. These are all mostly all important. What I will have is they max out at 25, which isn't that hard to get to, but you're really going to want someone who's maxed out in persuasion, someone who's maxed out in investigation, someone who's maxed out in espionage, and someone who's maxed out in command. Those 4 all have missions that can be very hard, especially espionage and investigation. So espionage is how you get countries, essentially, because you need to do a crackdown, which makes the point easier to capture, and then a purge, which takes the point. Purge just on its own is really hard, so usually you do a crackdown followed by a purge. The other thing you can do, it's nice that the politician has all of them, is a coup d'etat, and a coup d'etat essentially just causes an uprising in a country. You can use increased unrest to make that easy. So that's what command can do. And persuasion is quite a rare one. I believe celebrities can do it. Yeah, they have turn councillor. This essentially lets you turn councillors of other nations to your side, because all the other human factions and the aliens all follow the same rules as the player. So they all have a bunch of councillors running around the world doing missions. Now, let's have a look at who we got. We got Gina Kim here, who has affluent, anxious, aware, academic. None of these really mean anything. They're like some alright stuff, but nothing really matters. We got a hacker here. Criminal. I don't like hackers. So your councillors kind of have this, which then defines this, and then these are the missions they can do. And then they also get missions from orgs. So your councillors are kind of a mix of themselves and the organizations that they represent. So I don't really like them. Spy. Checist. Member of the political police. Oh, that's new. Okay. Oh yeah, I'm on the experimental version of the game. So there's going to be some new things I am not familiar with, and I'm super excited to try them out, because I just don't know what they're going to be, but they should be really fun. Ronald Wrath. The two traits we're really looking for is quick learner or striver. These essentially mean they level up faster. These are the best traits in the game, in my opinion. Not great. Inigo. Nope. Nope. I mean, she's just generic 8 persuasion. We want persuasion early, really important, but she is a 60 because she's celebrity. For a celebrity usually can get stuff like megastar and stuff like that. She doesn't have any. She's like the worst celebrity ever. No one's ever heard of her. Okay. Just an executive who's a sociopath who does nothing. We don't need you. Ooh, okay. Now I was kind of looking at her because she had 8 persuasion, cost 30, so that's a great opener. But ethical isn't great. And yeah, it's not great. Media darling is nice. Plus 3 persuasion in nations where government score is at least that has been buffed to hell. Plus 3? What? Okay. +1 in home nation. She's Kazakhstani, so she won't be doing much in her home nation. And Untouchable is so lovely. She's actually really good for a persuasioner. Yeah, she is great. This Kazakhstani lady, it's absolutely fantastic. Problem is, actually, I just looked. Okay, no, she does have control nation and public campaign. She's not that good on missions, but it doesn't matter. We'll get her better missions. Politicians, immediate opening, get her. Okay. Now, organizations. What do we have? We have a bit of science and that. I mean, they're good for later. I might literally buy both of them for later. Ooh, Voice of America. That's really good. Oh, no, it's not. It's cost 2, 1. So you use your administration. So you use your administration points. Each of these is 1 administration, and you kind of build up a whole horde of organizations. And that's incredibly important. So we don't really care. So our first goal, if we want to have, I'm just going to do what I always do. And we've rolled all right for it as well. Will be, I'm going to do America as my opening nation. Obviously we will get more as we go through. But I really want to win. And I think America is just such a strong opening nation. Just a really powerful opening. Now, one of the nice things of Academy is, let's look at nations. And where are we popular? Because the academies start off really, really popular. Now, we do have an event that happens at some point, which is going to destroy our popularity. But starting off, we start off really popular. Ugh. Okay, no countries I really like to see in this list. How are we looking at some of my favourites? So one of the things we're going to want to early secure is money. United Arab Emirates is just overall neutral, so not amazing. Singapore, they like us a little bit. Vietnam loves us. Moderate. What's your rest? Let's start with Singapore. No. Let's put her on Canada. So let's immediately go. Grab Canada with her.
Acknowledged.
Sydney Ponder, 4 persuasion, not great. He will go investigate the alien crash.
At your service.
And Rogialo. Oh. Some low percent plays here. You know where you could start actually. Let's do, as we are quite popular there, Ireland. Now, what we're going to do with Ireland is a great, what I like to call a spoils nation. So nations have priorities. These are how the nation spends its development points. So we'll go into that later, but Ireland, we want that. So that's our opening. Let us begin. So nations in this game, essentially, every month get points. And the points they get is based on their GDP. So they get this many points because of their GDP of 558. And then they spend those points on upgrading priorities. So if they get 60 of them, they build an army. So if you think about it, if they do that solidly for 6 months, plus a bit, 7 months, I guess, I don't know maths, they would get an army. Or you can use it to buff up your country. So you can buff up the economy or the welfare or increase your environment score, which is now a new thing, which I'm happy to play with. But we're not going to do that. What we care about for Ireland is spoils, which is basically us just stealing money directly from Ireland and giving nothing back, which we will do because we need money in order to do stuff. So yeah, let us begin. Ireland has okay inequality. It's very rich from GDP per capita. It starts with okay cohesion. So if cohesion and stuff gets too bad, unrest goes up. And the more unrest there is, the less effective these are. So what you want to do is try and have countries with low unrest as your spoils nations, in my opinion. So management team, do we get 10 monthly money? Just 50 ops right now, but nothing else. That's this economy here, ops. 15 research or free monthly influence. I'm going to do the free monthly influence because I always do it, because this one kind of runs out and these are flat. But influence, you never really get, you can get crazy ops late game. You can get crazy money. You never quite get crazy influence. It's hard to, unless you really want to focus on it in space, it's just not really, I always get this. Influence is so incredibly powerful. It's powerful early on, it's powerful later on, and it's hard to get. And as a result of that, we will also do this. So, the UN Council meets. The show for international unity did not materialize with the aliens' arrival. China, Russia, and America accusing each other and preventing access to the site. We have opportunity to shape events to our advantage and make our case directly to the nations of the world. However, if we do that, then they'll find out about us, which who cares? So do we care or we don't care? So we get a bit of ops, but you don't need ops right now. We need influence. 50 influence can do great things for us. This also gives us a public opinion boost around the world, which would give us more influence because, as you can see, we've gone from 2.8 to 3.5.
Demons incarnate. They and the traitors who support them will face our judgment.
This is our first rival / friend, Hans Castillo. He does not think they're life forms or xenosapiens. They are demons incarnate. They and the traitors who support. We are kind of the traitors who support them, but for right now, we're fully fighting the aliens.
Our only hope is to understand what the aliens want with us and determine how to satisfy them without losing our independence.
How to satisfy them without losing our independence. What will make the aliens satisfied? I'm sure that will be completely reasonable and won't be crazy. I mean, that's kind of what we want as well. So we'll be best buds, I'm sure. So those are the other factions that also picked the bottom option. So yeah, now +1 cohesion in the world. What's brought us all together, aliens exist, and we're all coming together. So America, which is what we're targeting, which has terrible, terrible cohesion. And America's in a real mess at the beginning of the game, but we will have to fix. Yeah, so we're going to set aside our differences, and it's in slightly less of a mess. So, you know what all these numbers are? This is kind of a democracy score. So you usually want this at about kind of high 8s. So it looks like Germany, for example, would be at high 8, right? But some countries like France are kind of at a base 8. America's only at a 7.8, right? And then you go to countries like India, where it's at 7, and like dictatorships like Russia is at 3.2. So the lower this is, the more oppressive your country is. Now, at really high democracy scores, it gives you bonus to cohesion that pushes it towards 5. At really low government scores, it pushes it high. So you either usually want high or low. However, high is just better than low at all times because it gives you more science, and science is very important. So you want high government score, which America's just... its democracy score isn't great, and it really needs improvement because at that low level, it's going to hurt its cohesion quite a lot. America also has really high inequality, which, and it's just going up and up because climate change affects inequality and because they don't really put anything into welfare because it's America. So yeah, that's going to hurt. That hurts a lot as well. But so when we take over America, we're going to have to fix all these things. But what America does have is 6 armies. So each one of these represents an army. 6 armies. Well, that doesn't represent armies. 6 armies and 6 navies, more importantly. And navies are arguably everything. We'll get onto that later when we actually have to fight, which we don't for quite a while.
We found something.
Okay, we've discovered the aliens.
Chancellor, we have completed our initial field investigation at the crash site.
We have gathered some fragments of the debris from the site for analysis, but there is no sign of the spacecraft's crew. Are they hiding? Did some other human organization seize them? Or do they have their own plans? 20 influence, 20 research. So, I completely forgot about research, I'm not going to lie. The samples we gathered from the crash site are small, but represent the first step on what will be a long road to understanding the aliens and their way of looking at the world. I'm going to be reading all of these because the story is really important to me. So,
We've gained significant support.
Control point in Canada. So we now own a part of Canada. This lets us choose partially what we're going to do with the Canadian economy. And we are just going to make Canada try and found a space program to help us in space. That's what Canada's going to do because Canada's inequality, 3.3 is not great. You want lower than that, but the government score's super high, inequality is super low. They're incredibly unsustainable, Jesus. But climate change is a future issue. We're not going to care about that early game. So yeah, we can do alien signatures. So let's
Got our people in place.
and we have a control point in Ireland, which is nice. And for Ireland, as our first goal is America, so we care about the development of Canada because eventually America can form a super nation with Canada. And we don't want to ruin Canada too much. Ireland, on the other hand, we won't be in the EU for a while. So yeah, we're gonna do this. Apologies if you're Irish. It's happening. Research. So these opening techs. This is the tech tree of the game, and these techs aren't really techs that do much. They mainly just exist to unlock other tech. Oh, this is a new UI. Oh, this is so much clearer. That lock mean? Anyway. So mainly these techs kind of just unlock projects. So as a society, as humanity, we put points towards these free techs. If you are the person who's contributed the most to a tech, that tech, this is good that we will want this eventually, that tech will let you then pick the next global tech humanity does, of all the ones they have available, which are these 4 and then whatever these unlock, which will be those 3, and then this one unlocks a lot. Now what we want to do is this one. It's the most important because it gives us clandestine cells, which clandestine cells lets you unlock a new councillor. So currently we're limited to 4 total councillors. We want this will give us access to 5. It's really important, but it also will give us access to stuff like arrival economics, arrival sociology, arrival domestic politics. Arrival domestic politics gives us institutional outreach, which means we can get more institutions for our councillors. This one, arrival markets, lets us buy more institutions for our councillors. Really, really important because this is not a great selection. We really can't get what we want. It will more or less double in size once we get all that. And that's way more important. So that is what we will focus on first, and getting to space and doing space, because, oh yeah, that's, of course, this game is we're going to space. That will happen, but there's no rush on that. The AI love to research that stuff, and we kind of have to work together with the other human factions on this, because other than the servants, we're kind of all in this together. And so the humans, as you can see, they love stuff like Skywatch and Mission to Space, but they don't really love lots of the social stuff, and the social stuff is very important, in my opinion. So stuff like neural networks or cybernetics, really, really crucial. So we will be focusing on that. Filling in the holes the AI leaves behind. Oh yeah, so we have an opportunity now to do alien signatures, which allow us to detect alien abductions on Earth, which essentially is us advancing the main quest. So if we do this, we can see what the aliens are actually doing. So it's turn 2. We have a point in Canada. Now the reason why we can't just go straight for America is because it's very unlikely, even with this insane character. But look, control points and neighbours, 0.9. So every control point we get in Canada gives us more success in America.
Bringing them to our
So we
side.
will keep doing that.
Your orders?
We will
Ready to go.
finish off grabbing Ireland.
Establishing our presence. Ready.
And this guy is just useless, basically. I don't even know why he's here, to be honest. If it's still the same list, we could try and get this lady. It's a bad list of openers, let's be honest. Actually, you know what? He might as well do Ireland because he's so bad.
Bringing them on board.
And Rodrigo
Where do you
Torrente.
need me?
I guess we can upgrade their persuasion skill. Make him a bit better. I probably should have done the opening, but oh well. Can try and grab this one.
Taking control.
Another just amazing spoils nation. United Arab Emirates. Rich, low inequality, easy.
What's the
Easy
op?
money.
What's the op?
Ready.
Let's go. Research wise, yeah, so this is coming along. So if you don't know, research, we get 3.7 currently per turn from our nations. But the more you spread out your research, the more you get in total. So you want to spread it out. So that's why I'm kind of doing 1 here and then 3 here. And once this is done, we'll then put everything in You Are Not Alone. And then we'll probably have a point doing one of these. These are essentially repeatables that let you get free resources. So just a little bit of influence. You never know when that's going to be useful. But yeah. Oh yeah, and there's a close call. There's so much space debris that we own the International Space Station. Doesn't really do anything for us, but it almost got blown up. Life has touched down on Earth. You can read these research ones if you want. I'm not going to because they're the same for every faction.
Chancellor, our inquiry so far has only yielded more mysteries.
The fragments of debris have posed more questions than answers. Some of them do not appear to precisely match any alloy we are familiar with. More importantly, we have determined that at least one alien survived the crash. It left the crash site under its own power and moved into the local wilderness. Ooh. Is it prepared? What will it do? It is very possible the aliens know as little about us as we do about them. They will have their own procedures, their own debates. Through watching their actions, the first clues will filter through to us. So we are assuming nothing. Now, if you play different factions in this game, although we've done literally the same thing, every faction starts off the same, they will all have a different reaction. So Humanity First are already like, we need to find and kill these creatures on our world. They're already terrified. The Servants are like, how do we get to them to show our respect? And the Protectorate are like, what if they're injured? They could be injured. We need to give medical assistance. We're all different. We are just more or less sitting back and like, we must learn everything we can. Because we're sciencey. And then we've got a clue. It's not promising. People are disappearing in the region of the crash. We will know more, but it was not good news. and we believe they're constructing the solar system. Yeah, and those last two, more longer term stuff, we don't need to worry about. So we need to salvage alien tech, which we will eventually do, and then research their origin, which means Skywatch and Deep System Skywatch. This will hurt us. When this happens, we will lose a bunch of global public opinion, and we will also all of our control points will get cracked down, which, as long as it happens at the right time, really doesn't matter. If it happens at the wrong time, that can be pretty catastrophic. We'll put that at 0. Let's focus on getting this nice and early.
We've got our people in place.
So, we own Ireland,
Our presence is growing.
own Canada, Ireland on Kleptocratic. Where is that? Here? Yep.
Our presence is growing.
So someone's scouted us in Dubai, doesn't matter. So,
Where to? We'll be running this place in no time.
Standing by.
the last
Taking
Canada
control.
one.
Reporting in.
You come down here, you won't do very well. Is this reset? No, same lot. Alright, we need to get rid of all these guys and get new ones in. Okay, some new orgs though. There's something that's good for later, just not right now. Get you some persuasion. Oh my god. There's Power Broker. Gives you more funding. That is not useful. That just gives us money. Might be good early. 28 monthly and it costs that much. So it's going to take like ages to pay back for itself. It's not really worth it. I guess in the long term, that's alright. We'll take it. For someone else, not for her. We still, yeah, we're going.
I will report when my mission is
94%
complete.
Canada. Nice, some nice high rolls here. She is very strong.
We've got our people in place.
So we now have
Supporters are in place.
Canada completely, which is lovely. Not that we,
We're unable to
well, he
establish
failed. So
control.
he rolled 70% and he needed 58%. Not great. So just more money. Look at this. The money is just rolling in. 327. That's what we like to see. Well, that level of income, let's get that for the future as well. We don't need it right now. The future, that will be lovely. All right, recruit. No. Please. Can we actually start on America yet? I wouldn't right now. Mexico love us, which is really, really nice. It's just nice being the academy. Early game is so much easier.
Acknowledged. Standing by.
Keep you here, trying to grab the last point.
Establishing our presence.
Okay,
It has always been true that we must leave the cradle if our species is to survive. If these aliens are indeed hostile, the time to go is now.
so he's another one. He's just trying to run away. I mean, you do you, mate. That's your project, your thing. But at least in the meantime, just kill some aliens for us. That'd be lovely, thank you.
I will report when my mission is complete.
Get Mexico, get Canada, get all the neighboring points. We're all good. So we've discovered an alien fleet in low Earth orbit. These are the various orbits of Earth.
The trick is not to look directly at what you are trying to see.
So we have researched. So the first global tech has been done. they've immediately gone for Deep System Skywatch. This is not good. I wanted a little bit of time before this came in. Thanks, Humanity Fair. Thanks, Resistance. Please stop. Thanks, you guys. Oh, God. So Deep System Skywatch will let us see all of space, which will let us see where the alien home base is, which will let us know that the aliens have not come in peace, because there's going to be a lot of them. And yeah, that will mean everyone will be like, we shouldn't ally these guys, they're clearly evil. But we have to stick firm to our beliefs and be like, no, they are good. That's not good for us. That like never happens with the... I felt the AI usually wait quite a bit before doing that one. So Mexico does have issues. Mexico is not very democratic and is very inequality. And the thing is with Mexico is eventually I will be incorporating it into America because this game basically features super states. So the European Union, which is a union, led by France. France is essentially the European Union. France isn't really a nation in this game. It kind of has claims and all this stuff. All the stuff it has claims on is essentially like part of the mega nation, and eventually you do research which unlocks a super mega nation here. You have like the African mega nation, giant Asian one, huge Indian one, and kind of a smallish Arabic one. There's a bit of a mess down there, but a giant South American one and a giant North American one. So Canada, Mexico will all be part of America one day. So these countries need to be not a mess if I want to incorporate them, because the more population they have, the more impact that percentage, because essentially if America has this much and then you add that on, Mexico is 1/3 of America, right? So if Mexico's stats are really low, it will just tank America's stats whenever they combine. So we need to make sure that they're not that low. So that's why it's actually important, in my opinion, for Mexico to have welfare and government. That's what I'm going to focus on. Government is a new thing, so it used to be just knowledge, but they split it out. So knowledge is now just how advanced you are. It's your education score. The higher your education score, the more research you get, basically. And then government just does your government score. So let's just focus on government and welfare. That's all we really care about for Mexico. Try and sort them out, essentially. Ooh, we're getting there with America. We're getting there.
Establishing control.
Standing by for orders.
Ready. Establishing control.
Where to?
Oh, do I get this? Do I get... I mean, it's good. Okay, so this is more like a long-term one. The reasons why it's good. +2 science for free. Science is an alright trait. There's no really missions for it. But if we mouse over it, it does a lot of miscellaneous stuff. It gives you research when you do advise, which will be important for our scientist councillor. I'll talk about that later. But you get more chance of things. But the other one is high science scores will also help defend our interest against alien activities. The aliens will get an ability to essentially they will have the ability to mind control our control points against us. Full disclosure, the aliens have mind control powers, and that's bad. So the more science we have, it's a little thing, but all those little things can add up. So a little 2 here, a little thing there, all your councillors have high science, all of a sudden they're just not great. They just can't do much. So 40 science, it's not amazing, but 15% space science, anything that's research is good. It's 160 influence. I think we need to save up the influence though, because we need... These will be replaced any day now. And we're going to need... I think we don't. I think we need the influence. Science is basically important, because the thing is with the aliens is that the aliens have full access to space, they have ships running around. We don't. Humanity is way behind the aliens in terms of tech. But by the time you get to the end of the tech tree, we will have caught up. And to be honest, you don't only just catch up by the time you're kind of here-ish, you kind of surpass. And so essentially we just kind of need to survive long enough for our tech to be powerful enough that we can crush the aliens. That's kind of the big race in Terra Invicta, is can the aliens wipe out humanity because you're really on the defensive in this game. Can the aliens wipe out humanity or conquer humanity? They don't want to wipe us out. Obviously, they're not that evil. But can they conquer the planet before we are advanced enough where we can just immediately win? And yeah, so any science, anything like that helps push you guys, just helps you along. So science is so important. So it could be good, but it's just not worth it. We got other orgs cost influence. So some orgs cost money, some cost influence. There's one reason why influence is so important. And there's just more important stuff, I think. So I'm not going to bother. Yes, I'm not going to bother. Let's just put him on Mexico. That means there's 3 people on Mexico, but obviously he's on 50%, she's on 77. Someone might fail. We don't need all of it, because we can only have so many countries. There's a kind of a cap, which is based on the economy. Which is why I'm not buffing the economy or anything, because then it increases how much they contribute towards our cap. We only have so many countries. Okay, advisory team. So this is like buffs to something. It's a complicated one, this one. 10% economy. 5% spaceflight and boost. This one I think is really awful. Because boost is useful in the early game, but later on, it really, really won't matter. Boost is a resource which essentially is how you get your stuff in the early game into space. But later on, you still need a bit, but you really don't need that much. It's a really early game important resource. It's incredibly important early on, and we will try and do something about it. At 5%, it's just not great. In spaceflight program, as far as I'm aware, is just this. So once you have this to 50, you're allowed to have mission control and boost. It's just to get you going, which just doesn't seem that great. Maybe I'm wrong about that. If I'm wrong, let me know. Build army and build military. Okay, the thing is with armies, with that one, armies have 2 components to them. So China. They have armies and they have navies. To build an army is 60. To build a navy is 100. An army without a navy doesn't contribute naval score and also just can't go anywhere overseas. And this is a global game of global war. You need your army not just in your country, you need it all over the world. So you really, really need navies, and it helps with some, but it doesn't help with anything, and it's everything, and it's kind of annoying because of that. And then welfare and knowledge are just nice. But this one used to be better, but I think now that government does the government score and knowledge is just research, I'm going to go with this because we need military ASAP. We need as much military as possible because the aliens are coming. And this is your military score. This is essentially what the military priority does. And the higher this is, the better your armies are. Now our armies right now are 4.5. The aliens will land with 7. And you see each 10th of a point represent a 10% improvement in combat. So it really scales up. If you're on 6 and they're on 7, I believe they're twice as good as you. Not 100% sure, but it feels like that. And that's about where we want to be. By the time the aliens land, we want to be on a 6. So military will be everything. We want to get America's military up to the point where it can actually fight the aliens.
We still lack support.
He has failed. Will Sydney do it? Go on, Sydney. Oh my god, Sydney. No wonder you're getting replaced. You're useless, mate. Alright. That's fine, that's fine. Let's focus a little bit more on welfare for Mexico. Really get that welfare on the right side to get up that cohesion, to drop down that unrest. Because the more and more cohesion goes down, the more and more unrest goes up. And it's just a disaster. When unrest gets too high, cohesion does unrest, and unrest ruins everything. Especially if unrest gets to 10 and there's a civil war. Usually, if America isn't taken by anyone, in my experience, it will just kind of end in just civil war and horror, and it will just be basically just a disaster. Oh, see, that's good. 10% energy, +1 things, +1 that, yay. Long term, that's great. It's not even that expensive as well. +1 persuasion. We're on 12. With a bit of influence, we can grab America. Yes, we're looking good here. Okay, let's do 16. Not very much, but
Putting our people in place.
not bad at all.
Where do you need me?
What's the op?
Ready for my mission.
Oh, are these some new ones? Yes. Okay. Rubbish. Rubbish. Nothing. Nothing. Attorney. Now you are investigate. You have crackdown and stuff. Eminent. I don't like that because it's -2 espionage from being detected by other councillors. Your investigation councillors are just incredibly vulnerable, so I don't like that. Tycoon. Billionaire. Ooh. She is crazy for influence production, though. It's just a bunch of rubbish, to be honest. We gotta have better than this. Come on. I want someone where I'm like, yes. Like, no one screams yes to me. This guy I just hate. I might get that tycoon.
Ready to go.
Oh, we're not having great luck here. I would love it if these guys could do public popularity missions. I might get a councillor just to help do public popularity missions. For now, who has public campaign? You do tech mogul with 4 persuasion. You're the only one and you only have 4 persuasion. Okay, we just won't bother. She'll be fine, I'm sure. 44% is already high. So yeah, we'll grab America as soon as possible. Get rid of these. Get this thing sorted out. Okay, that's lovely. Oh no, I need to do my other guys. Rogelio. Honestly, these guys can just try and grab the last point in Mexico.
Ready.
Laying the groundwork.
So with 20 XP, you get an upgrade. Yeah. Well, how are the other AI factions are doing? So no one has even touched France. That's weird. Has been a while since I played this game. So the AI are doing weird stuff. Humanity First are just all in on Bangladesh. Exodus are doing Indonesia, which is a really good nation. Mission to space. Yeah. They're doing there. Where is everyone else? Humanity First are kind of where are like
Taking over.
the servants?
Our supporters are in place.
Mission is a no-go.
Okay, we grabbed, fully done Mexico now. And we've done United States as well. Lovely. So all we're going to do in the United States for now is the unity priority. The unity priority, it hurts us in a lot of ways. It gives us cohesion, which is nice. But it will shift public opinion towards factions with control points in the nation. So basically, it knocks down economically a little bit, but what it does is just give us more popularity. And that's really all I care about. Another thing is we are over right now, which is kind of annoying. We have been so fast. I'm usually not this fast in grabbing countries. I think it's because this lady is so overpowered. So nice to have. Yeah, I've seen this a lot actually. I don't know what is with the initiative in Spain. They just love it. Are people around? I just don't see the servants anywhere, which is weird. They have 1 point in Russia. I guess they've just been failing. Oh no, Italy. They are kind of going for EU stuff, but they're not. No one's going for France, which is like the actual EU. That's weird. Okay. Obviously, no one's going for China because China's incredibly hard to take. Because the more your GDP is, the harder you are to take. China's GDP is massive, 26. Ooh, new organizations we may wish to acquire. Okay. It's okay. Nothing amazing here.
Bringing them on board.
So get you back into America.
Ready
We
for
are
my mission.
over right now. So, well, what we can do with our professors and stuff. Is we can try and investigate around where the aliens crash. The alien agent is currently running around. Where did they crash? It's over here, wasn't it? I literally don't remember. They probably have moved this way anyway. We'll just kind of scout around, see what we can see. With our engineer, let us... I guess we'll decide that on the next episode. So that's been episode 1. So I'm going to keep playing. So I'm immediately start episode 2. But thank you very much for watching. If you made it all to the end, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you, yeah, I hope I see you in episode 2. See you then.